Have you ever wondered why exhaustion never introduces itself loudly? It doesn't crash into your life like a storm. It slips in softly, like someone slowly turning down the dimmer switch on a room you didn't realize was getting darker. One day you're sharp, motivated, and focused, and the next, everything feels strangely heavy, muted, or harder to care about. Today, I want to take you on a journey inside that experience. Because your mind doesn't simply get tired. It asks for rest, and it does so in ways we often misunderstand. By the end of this video, you'll understand the psychology of exhaustion, the emotional signs your brain uses to warn you, and how to respond with more compassion and awareness. My goal is for you to walk away not only informed, but seen and comforted. Imagine this. You're sitting at your desk, the cursor blinking rhythmically, patiently. You tell yourself, just get through this email. But your thoughts feel thick, like trying to stir honey with a toothpick. You blink a few times, read the same sentence again, and somehow it still doesn't register. You think, what is wrong with me today? But nothing is wrong. You're experiencing one of the first quiet signs of mental exhaustion. And the truth is, these signs often appear long before we recognize we're overwhelmed. They show up in 6 distinct ways that, once you learn them, you'll see everywhere. In your own life and in the people you care about. Let's go inside the brain for a moment. When your focus begins to blur, it's not because you lack discipline or motivation. It's because your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, attention, problem-solving, and emotional regulation, runs almost like a battery. Every time you focus, it burns glucose and oxygen. And under chronic stress, lack of rest, or emotional overload, that battery drains faster than it recharges. Neuroscientists call this state mental fatigue. You're not lazy. You're not procrastinating. You're overloaded. And your brain is trying to protect you by slowing down. Think of it like this. Your car doesn't go slower because it hates you. It goes slower because it's protecting the engine. Your brain does the same. Blurred focus is the mind's first whisper. I need rest. But that's only the beginning. Another sign is when small things suddenly feel big. Maybe you misplace your keys and suddenly feel like you're failing at life. A friend doesn't text back quickly, and your chest tightens with the sting of rejection. You spill coffee on your shirt during a busy morning, and tears come out of nowhere. When we're emotionally rested, the brain's emotional center, the amygdala, and the reasoning center, the prefrontal cortex, work in a beautiful, balanced partnership. But when you're exhausted, the amygdala becomes louder, more sensitive, and more reactive. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex goes quiet. That imbalance means your emotional volume is turned up, while your reasoning is dialed down. You're not too sensitive. You're tired, and your nervous system is asking for relief. Psychology has a name for this. Emotional dysregulation due to cognitive depletion. A mouthful, I know. But what it really means is that your brain is struggling to stabilize your emotional responses because it doesn't have enough energy to do its job. This is why something tiny can feel enormous. And this is why compassion, not criticism, is what you need in those moments. When your brain is tired, logic doesn't soothe you. Gentleness does. Another sign of deep mental exhaustion is when joy starts to feel muted. You know those things you used to love. Your favorite show, your favorite food, the songs you once had on repeat. They still exist. But you don't feel the same spark. It's not that you dislike them. It's that you feel strangely neutral. Like life is happening behind a glass window. This is called anhedonia, the loss or reduction of pleasure. And it happens because chronic stress lowers dopamine activity. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter that fuels motivation, interest, and pleasure. Under exhaustion, your brain shifts into energy conservation mode, like a garden closing its flowers at night. Not because the flowers are dying, but because they're protecting themselves until conditions improve. When joy feels far away, your brain is telling you it's depleted, not broken. Then there are the physical signs, the ones we tend to brush off, medicate, or ignore. You wake up tired even after 8 hours of sleep. Your shoulders are constantly tense. You get headaches, jaw tightness, stomach discomfort, or a racing heart for no clear reason. This is your mind speaking through your body. In psychology, we call this somatization, when psychological stress expresses itself physically. Emotions are not abstract. They are bodily sensations. Anxiety feels like restlessness or tightness. Sadness feels like heaviness in the chest or a lump in the throat. Anger brings heat. When these emotions remain unprocessed, they settle into the body. Your back pain might not be just back pain. Your constant fatigue might not be just laziness. These physical discomforts are your mind tapping you on the shoulder, saying, "Something is too heavy. Give me space." Another sign, you start to detach. Not dramatically, just subtly. You're in a room full of people, but your mind feels miles away. Conversations happen around you, but it's like you're watching them through a fog. Music plays, but it sounds distant. You find yourself zoning out more often, feeling disconnected from your own life. This is often a protective mechanism. Dissociation. When the nervous system senses overwhelm, it creates a buffer, a small, temporary emotional distance to protect you from overload. It doesn't mean you're losing touch with reality. It means your mind is trying to survive too much stimulation with too little energy. Dissociation is not a malfunction. It's a coping strategy, or a psychological timeout. The last and often loudest sign your mind is begging for rest is the craving to escape. Not necessarily physically, but mentally. You scroll more. You binge-watch shows. You sleep excessively. You avoid calls, messages, responsibilities, decisions. You don't want a connection. Just distance. And often you don't even know what you're trying to run from. This is not a weakness. It's the default mode network. The part of your brain active when you daydream, imagine, or introspect, taking over to protect you from constant engagement with pain, stress, or responsibility. You're not escaping because you don't care. You're escaping because your mind is overwhelmed and searching for safety. And sometimes the fastest form of safety is disengagement. These 6 signs, blurry focus, emotional sensitivity, muted joy, physical tension, dissociation, and the urge to escape, are not failures. They are systems of communication. They are your brain saying, "Please slow down. I need rest. I need gentleness. I need space." The dramatic moment, the one most people don't realize, is this. Your brain will always find a way to force you to rest. If you don't listen to the whispers, it will speak louder. Fatigue becomes burnout. Emotional overwhelm becomes anxiety. Muted joy becomes depression. Tension becomes chronic pain. Dissociation becomes emotional numbness. Escape becomes isolation. Your brain is designed to protect you, even if that protection looks like shutting down. This is the moment I want you to understand deeply. Exhaustion always starts with whispers, and it always ends with consequences when ignored. But here's the hope and the beauty in all of this. You can intervene early. You can learn your signals. You can respond with compassion instead of guilt. You can support your brain before it collapses into burnout. Let's shift into insight now. This is the part where we translate psychology into healing. Because knowledge is only valuable when it becomes care. When your focus blurs, think of it not as failure, but as an internal alarm. Pause. Step away. Refuel. A 5-minute break can reset your prefrontal cortex. A glass of water can improve cognitive flow. A short walk can restore blood flow to the brain. Attention isn't a moral quality. It's a neurobiological process. And you can support it. When little things feel big, remind yourself, this is not me overreacting. This is my nervous system under pressure. Name the emotion. Naming an emotion activates the prefrontal cortex and calms the amygdala. The brain responds to being acknowledged. You're not weak for feeling deeply. You're tired. When joy feels muted, don't push yourself to feel better. Instead, give yourself environments that feel safe and small. Quiet room. A warm drink. A comforting scent. Dopamine grows in stillness, not in forced positivity. When your body speaks, listen. Place your hand on the tense area. Breathe deeply into it. Ask, what emotion might this be holding? The body remembers what the mind avoids. You can release tension through presence, not pressure. When dissociation appears, ground yourself. Feel your feet on the floor. Touch a textured object. Name 5 things you can see. Remind your nervous system that you are safe. Dissociation isn't an enemy. It's a sign you need gentler stimulation. When you crave escape, don't shame yourself. Instead of numbing, shift toward intentional rest. Sit by a window. Listen to a calming song. Do something soothing, not distracting. Conscious rest heals. Rest that is numbing delays the crash. The psychology of exhaustion teaches one profound truth. Your brain is not working against you. It is working for you. Every sign is protective. Every symptom is communication. Every moment of fatigue is an invitation toward healing. And now, as we move toward the end of this journey, I want to leave you with a gentle, grounding reflection. You live in a world that praises productivity and treats rest as a luxury. But neuroscience tells us that rest is not optional. It is essential. Your brain consolidates memories, regulates emotions, and repairs itself only when you rest. Rest is not a reward. It's a biological requirement. So if your mind has been whispering through fog, tears, discomfort, or numbness, please pause. Slow down. Take it seriously. You're not falling apart. You're running on empty. And emptiness isn't failure. It's a signal that you've been strong for too long without a break. Before you go, I want you to take one breath. Right now. In and out. Notice how even a single breath creates space. Your healing begins not in grand gestures, but in moments exactly like this. Small, intentional, compassionate pauses. If this message spoke to you, I encourage you to stay connected. We explore the mind-brain connection here every week. If you want more videos like this, videos that teach, comfort, and guide you back to yourself, make sure you're subscribed. And give your mind a moment of kindness today. It deserves it, and so do you.